Is the sky falling on powder coating? Kevin Coursin from the Powder Coating Institute reveals what the latest data shows in our specific manufacturing sector. In this year-end wrap-up show, we cover some of the topics his group has addressed and the challenges that lay ahead. We also talk about the upcoming Powder Coating Week. Whether you're a henny penny or a foxy-woxy, we're making sure you are covered with everything you need to know so your goose isn't cooked in 2023. Get ready to level up your powder coater game. So welcome to today's Powder Coater podcast. I am Kim Scott, your host of the Powder Coater podcast. And I can't believe it's the end of the year. We're hoping to get this out as soon as we record it. Today's guest is no stranger to the podcast. We've got Kevin Coursin, Executive Director of the Powder Coating Institute. Kevin, welcome back again to the show.
Thanks, Kim. It's wonderful to be back on again.
I know. Usually you look so suntanned and I look so pale. So I'm glad looks like it's a little wintry out there. So not so much sunshine on you, but yeah, I had to go to the beach just to get ready for this interview. So we're here today because it's the end of the year and I think we need a kind of a wrap-up show, don't you think?
Yeah, it's always a great time to do it.
Yeah, it's a wrap-up show, and we're also going to talk about, already again, it's Powder Coating Week is coming up, and this one is coming up way sooner than last year's one.
Oh, believe me, we know all about that.
The pressure is on. We're going to get into Powder Coating Week real quick here, just to kind of cover some of the highlights that they're expecting to have here at the event. I love going, and I hope I get to go this year again because you have a keynote speaker that is really smart. So first of all, when is Powder Coating Week? So let's pop it up here on the show. It is February 6th, 2023 in Orlando. It's the same place that you've had it
it's
for
like
a few
the
years.
Renaissance Orlando SeaWorld. Yeah,
and it's such a nice hotel. I actually do feel like I'm treating myself to something special when I go there because it's a very nice hotel.
Yep.
And also, so it's also a little earlier this year than last year. I think last year was like the first week of March. Right. This year is a whole month earlier. So we're kind of tickets are on sale now. There are some rooms still available, right? I hope.
Yes, there are rooms available. I think the early bird block has been used up, but there definitely are other rooms available.
Yeah. And I was going to try to pop this up on the website here. So let me go to your website and share Powder Coating Week so they can see what the page is. And let me see if I can share my screen. I'm still getting used to this. Here we go. All right, there it is. I think you can you see that?
Yep. And
yeah.
it's
okay, there we go.
It's at conference.powdercoating.org.
Right. Let's pop that up here too. I think we made one of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about this. It happens. I mean, you usually have it in Orlando. I know you've had it a few other different places before, right?
Correct. But the last 4 or 5 years have been in Orlando, and it's just a nice place to hold it. The hotel is just the right size for us, not too big, not too small, easy to get to. Yeah. And for those like myself that live in Wisconsin, going in February down to Florida is not a bad deal.
No, it's a nice treat. And we always seem to have so much fun at the bar. I love that bar down there. There's a couple of them actually. So
Yeah.
that's what makes it really cool is, you kind of check out the vibe. And of course, that one main lobby bar is just everybody seems to congregate there. And I always seem to find somebody that is got a company credit card. And then like, hey, can I join you in a conversation? Sure. Drinks are
Well,
on me. But yeah.
that informal networking is one thing that we like to say is one of the best things for this, because
It is.
just in talking, you learn so much from people, what's going on, problems they're having or things that are going well, and everybody maybe because they have a beer with them is happy, and we end up talking about a lot of different subjects.
Yeah, it's true. Obviously there's a lot to do at this conference. It is usually action packed. There's a lot of shuffling to go to the next, whatever the next seminar is, or webinar is, not webinar, but seminar, talker, speaker, whatever. And so there's a lot of hustle, and you don't have a lot of time to talk in between. So having this and looking forward to the bar scene is always fun. I do think we ever kind of like lets down their hair a little bit,
Sure.
and just have a good time. And everybody's just so happy. I mean, I love powder coating people because they seem so happy, like they seem down to earth and stuff. So,
and we really say that there's really 4 events that are going on, and that's why we call it Powder Coating Week. It's not just a single event. We have our Powder Coating 101 workshop. It's the powder coating done right, basics. And it's a day and a half that starts it off. At the same time that one is starting, we have our custom coder forum, which is exclusive to custom coders. And we have a couple great speakers, one on marketing your brand, but not only just to market your company, but also to market your company for attracting employees, which we all know is a difficult thing to get right now.
Yeah.
We also have another speaker for the custom coders on how to collect all the information they have, the systems to use that data to help quote, to learn a lot of different things, whether it's about your equipment, your customers, part numbers, all sorts of information that is available, and pull it together. And then we also have a separate roundtable discussion just to talk about current issues or anything that somebody is experiencing. It's a great chance to talk to other owners and find out what they might be doing and learning some best practices for it.
Right. And I think that I do find I like those 2 at the end, or even whatever days they're on, because it is another, aside from the bar, it's the second best way to meet people, because you have to kind of, you just kind of sit in the morning wherever you land, and then, a bunch of questions, and that's like, I guess for me, where you guys are asking like on topic or very relevant questions that are happening like today, like in the industry. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like what's happening right now, which I kind of think is, something that's great, because it gives you pause to kind of go, wow, I don't really want to think about the Ukraine war, but how is it affecting me, or whatever? Because that was one of the questions last year. And it shocked me that was being asked, because it had just kind of started. And, we were like, whoa, is it really happening? Right. Kind of thing. So it was on topic.
But the other thing I love to hear is there's different aspects that different companies have a different way of doing something or viewing it, and there's a lot of little tidbits that you can pick up on. How can I make my company better by listening to someone else that has gone through something.
Yes, I love that too. Yeah, there is no. I don't know. I have a hard time with words, but like, it's not hoity-toity, right?
No, this is real world.
It's real world. Yeah. And the people have some, problems that they need to solve, whether it's a growth problem or a technical problem or, an equipment problem or production or a processing problem, so these are all just top of mind. The custom coder forum is one day. And then within that, I think is there 2 speakers?
Here's a message from today's sponsor.
Ross Coat here from Maui Powder Works. You know, we've been providing customers with high-end custom coatings for over 20 years. We love the powder coating business. Making auto parts, patio furniture, and stuff beautiful for our customers is the fun part. As you know, the hardest part of any job is getting parts prepped for finishing. At times, this means removing tough industrial OEM coatings, which can take hours, if not days, of chemical stripping and sandblasting. Our business was revolutionized when we discovered the great strippers from Benco Sales. Their customer service folks asked the right questions and recommended a stripper tailored for our needs. Give them a call today at 1-800-632-3626.
Get a free Benco stripper t-shirt when you mention Ross Coat.
Yeah, there's 2 speakers in there. One on the systems collecting the data, and then the other on marketing that are part of it. But again, that's all tailored to the custom coder, to their companies. Because it is a little bit different than, let's say, a big supplier or something, because a lot of these are smaller companies. But again, the speakers all bring something that somebody can take something home with. And, maybe you can't do it all, but there's going to be something that you could probably do to help yourself out.
Yeah. And as soon as I figure out if I'm going or not, but I really, really do want to go, I want to make sure everybody comes and meets me too, because I kind of, there are a lot of coders in Florida that I know that could just take an hour or so to drive just to meet me. I know I was at the very end featured in your commercial with my Chihu.
Yeah, we did get
Hawaii.
You in there.
You did. And so thank you. But now I want to talk about like this keynote speaker that you have, because when I read his name, and I have attended some of his webinars, this guy knows his stuff.
Yeah.
So tell me about who it is and what's he known for.
Well, Chris Keel is the individual name, and he is an economist. And he'll tell you his background is he was studying Russian to be basically in the CIA. So he understands the world in a different viewpoint from a lot of us, but he brings it in. And economics is not the most, call it fun subject, but Chris actually makes it fun to listen to, and he explains it in our words, how we can understand things and how this event is going to impact that. And this last year, I've seen him twice in person, and also watched a couple of his webinars. And he talked about the 2 black swan events this year, one being Ukraine and the other being the oil market and supply chain. So but he takes those and then explains how that impacts the economy, and more so how it impacts our businesses. And it's real world information that you can use. And, he makes some good, funny jokes about The Economist and predicting and, that type of thing, because it could change tomorrow, and he knows it, but he tells you what it is here and what he thinks is going to be happening or what might occur. So it gives you another planning tool that you can use.
Yeah, because, when you watch the nightly news, it's just like doom, doom, doom. And then somehow he has this ray of sunlight. Like he always, some of it may be not perfect, but a lot of it is it's strictly, and this is strictly data, but he kind of, and he's not spinning it, but he does give you hey guys, it's not that bad, right? And so I'm kind of interested to know, because I know that some of the, stuff that I've watched lately or listened to lately, it's like, okay, manufacturing's below 50, and what does this all mean? And I think that we're kind of in this sky is falling chicken kind of thing. Well, like we're all just doing this. Like, is the sky following? Is it following? What is it doing? Right. And I think that we're all kind of scrambling.
Well, I myself personally, when we had them at our annual meeting in June, when we were in Colorado, and going into that, it was sort of the start of a lot of this. And I was in my own mind going, man, this is going to be bad. What do I got to do? Do I need to pull all my money out of the market and, get into cash and put it under the mattress? And, I was sort of down a little bit, but then after I listened to him, I went, wait, no, it's not that bad. So he gave just another viewpoint to not get sucked into everything that you hear on the nightly news.
It's true. It's true, because it is all kind of spin there,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I think that guy alone, I know you're going to have there's a lot more and a lot more professionals there that are going to be talking. But seriously, when I read it, I was like, whoa, that is so worth going, just to hear this guy talk.
We have also, besides the keynote, then we have the technical conference sessions, and there's really 14 different sessions. Some of them are going on at the same time, so you can pick a track which ones you want to go see. But the nice thing is you can go through and what's relevant to yourself. Whether you're looking at a batch system and you want to hear that, or you want to see the guy in automation. And we always have one of the favorite sections is new technology. The suppliers come in and they get basically 15 minutes to tell what's new, and it has to be something new that they're bringing to the market. So there's a place to hear some very new, relevant equipment and material supplies, powder chemicals that are coming to market. And a lot of them I'll sit in because I want to learn it too. And I went, wow, this is neat. It's something that can really change something. And so there's a lot of those type of things that are available for everyone to take something home with them. And then we also have, after the first day, after the Custom Coder Forum, as well as during the technical conference, we have our tabletop exhibits. And we have sold out on those. We have 71 tables that are, suppliers, both from powder, chemical to equipment, will be there to, you can talk to, bring your problem to them, go check it out and say, hey, I'm having this kind of problem, how can you help me? And that's what they're there for. That's what they love to talk about.
And, going back to the Powder Coating 101 workshop, what kind of people attend that workshop?
The 101 we say is the basics. Sorry. And what the people that are new to the industry, and right now we do have a lot of new employees coming in, they can learn a lot about what is this thing called powder coating, and you learn about the material, you learn about the chemistry, about the various pieces of equipment, guns and booths and ovens, and if you're going to have a conveyor or not a conveyor. So there's a lot of the basics and a lot of the terminology. And I always warn people, it's a day and a half long. You are hearing a lot of information, so somewhat drinking from a fire hose as it's coming at you.
Yeah.
But what you get to take away from it is every attendee gets, all the slides are there that you can take notes right on, as they're talking. But then you also get the powder coating handbook that PCI publishes. So you can have that you can take home with you and utilize for there. But then again, the same thing at the breaks or afterwards, going, because the 101 attendees also get to go to the exhibit tables. You can go talk to these people a little bit more and learn, hey, I'm just starting off, and what can I do for my next step? Or if you've been in business and you want to learn a little bit more, somebody might have came in and said, all right, I want to take it to the next step. How do I add automation in? So there's different things that you can learn from this one. But lately, in all the workshops that I've been attending this year that we've had, I would say 60% of them have been people that are new to powder coating. And they're sending their new employees. They can be the line worker that's actually spraying. It could be an engineer. It could be someone off just running production.
Right.
But they're there to learn about it. And the most comments I get back from them is, because we always ask, what did you learn? And they just said, I had no idea. There is so much that goes into this. But now they had the terminology that they could talk to someone, more intelligently about it, whether it's internal or it's asking a supplier to come in to look for something new.
Yeah, I think if you can look beyond even just the content that's being presented, it's a great way to kind of, solve problems while you're there. If you've got a problem and you haven't been able to solve, what better way to go to other people that are just like you, or people of, that have access to all these companies that can solve these problems,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth, I don't, obviously I'm on the mainland. So I'm not on the mainland. I have to fly a long distance to get there. But for a lot of people, I think it's pretty easily accessible to get, a
Mhm.
short drive, or
Right.
relatively speaking, right? So
And anyone that's going there, I always say, collect the business cards from all the speakers.
I did.
These are the experts in the industry. They're the ones also help write the book.
Right.
So just collecting them, and same thing at the tabletops. These are the people. You may not have a problem today, but tomorrow you might have something and go, hey, I'm going to give them a call and see if they can help me. And you know someone then.
Yeah. I'd like to do a live podcast from there.
Yeah, that would be
Think
interesting.
about that. Yeah. Maybe I'll talk to you after the show.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. So, but moving on, you do have some real data to share with us today.
Yes.
And that's the third quarter. What do you have to share? What stands out to you as being important?
Well, the one thing I was, as I was getting ready for it, I went back and reread the third that we put together for our newsletter. And for any member, it is on a website that they can view it at any time. But overall, the third quarter, now this is from a global aspect, it was up about 1.7%. It was only, and for about just a little over 0.5% through the full quarter, first 3 quarters. They're forecasting to be up about 0.75%. Now, with that, North America was up 3% for the third quarter. So
that's good.
We were one of the areas that was doing much better. And even for the forecast, from quarter 1 through quarter 3 was about 3.6%. Europe was flat. China was flat because of all the lockdowns that they've had.
Yeah.
We're still going to have to see whether they can recover enough here in the fourth quarter or not. But then Southeast Asia has been picking up because, again, I think they picked up some of the business that China had shut down.
Right.
So those were some of the facts that we had heard through the year. And again, I mean, we always hear all the bad things, but it wasn't too bad of a forecast overall.
Hi, this is Ross at Maui Powder Works.
I have this problem with my finish. It's peeling and cracking, and there appears to be a white powdery substance underneath. What's happening?
Oh yeah, that's a common problem. It's called electrolysis, and in extreme weather and climates, it can ruin the life of your finishes. What we do to fix this is we install a Duralife fastener.
Prevent the early onset of coating failure with our specially designed screw cap that fits any 1/4 inch hole.
Give all your commercial and residential jobs the longest durability against corrosion in harsh environments, perfect for powder coated, painted, or conversion coated finishes.
To order your Duralife sink fasteners today, go to MauiPowderworks.com, click shop, then click Duralife. While you're there, check out our other products.
Extend the life of your finish. Let Duralife be your protector.
Yeah, a lot of the coders that I talked to online or people that have come on the show that I'm still in contact with, it's like they're still ripping pretty good. They don't seem to be slowing down. We haven't really slowed down just yet, but then Hawaii is usually lags. I think what they're predicting, our economists here are predicting end of first quarter or possibly second quarter. They were predicting second quarter for us, but then everything is driven by the tourism and stuff like that. So like if the if fuel can come down, then that means aircraft, flights and stuff can stay relatively low priced.
Right.
Hotel rates are definitely inflationary. they have been charging top dollar, but I think they're going to have to start adjusting those prices now. Here for us, we've been charging the most ever, just because it could all end tomorrow, and we just want to make sure that we,
Well, one of the things that Chris Keel had talked about is that, yes, the forecast is, maybe the end of the first quarter, beginning second quarter, somewhere in there. But he says all it takes is something to open back up. If China is now opening up, what is that going to do to us?
Yeah.
If for hopefully that Ukraine could be and Russia could settle their differences and stop what's going on, what a big difference would that make into the world then? So there are some events that could happen that could, just swing things another direction.
And don't you think that, like, if Europe is slow and if China is locked down, don't you think that that's kind of helping North America a little bit? Like, because things are being pushed to other people because the availability of the usual go-to places for getting stuff done, it's kind of helping North America, maybe in Canada, like
I think there is some, reshoring, nearshoring, whatever you want to call it, that has occurred and probably will still continue, because I think people that had put all their eggs in the one basket got hurt.
Yeah, I think
I think they're going to start spreading it out a little bit just to make sure. We always still have the problem. What's the labor cost going to happen here in the States? We're still have so many job openings, even at this time, there's so many. If that drives up labor costs, that may be, something else that has to be considered. But there still is a lot of people that are not working that, hopefully they come back into there. I mean,
right.
I want them to come back because I want to retire in a few years.
Yeah. And, that's another thing too. I noticed that the mergers and acquisitions have kind of slowed. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I think that they've all kind of levered up. Probably.
Although I read an article that just said that it may be picking back up because of all the current owners of companies. If they can't find someone to buy it, then they have to go to mergers and acquisitions to be able to sell their business to get out of it.
Right. Right.
So it could change here coming up.
There's a lot going on. Like there's a lot of different directions it could go in.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
yeah.
The
other thing that I had in there that the raw material availability is improving. Everybody's seen it. It's still not back to where it was pre-pandemic time, and probably the big fly in the ointment there right now is the energy cost, and especially producing powder and the chemicals is very energy intensive, and a lot of the companies are global companies with facilities in Europe, and the energy is up 100% or whatever over there.
Right.
That it's really hurting them. So there's going to be some shakeout, or maybe they have to move some of that around. But again, if you can't just magically put in a new facility to make powder, it takes some time.
It does.
So you have to wait for it to come up and do it. But
I think I mean you can still feel the remnants of this pandemic and changes. Obviously are still rolling. We're still not out of it. I think it's going to be a few more years till, maybe it's just the new normal. I don't even know. Like, will it ever be back to, 2019? These things, it just never happens to be back again. It just seems like things permanently change, right?
Yeah, it very possibly could be. And the same thing now. Housing was going, bananas, and now it just totally is making a swan dive going down because of the interest rates and other things. So how is that going to impact some of the industries that we have?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's probably mostly impacting the single family housing. The multifamily housing is going and appears to still going to be going well into 2023. because again, the affordability, people can't afford a house, but
Right.
they can afford an apartment or a condo.
Right. Yeah. And that's where a lot of the mid-level jobs that we've been getting have been coming from, is the multifamily, a lot of railings and stairwells and stuff like that. Although we're doing something for the telescope in Haleakala, they just retrofitted the dekissed telescope. They're picking it up today, and it's some kind of like arm or something that, like, I'm not sure what gets attached to this thing. It's kind of pretty big, but we've done a few things for them, and so I'm always curious when they're fixing something, because they monitor the sun, so that's what they monitor, and so it's like you never know what's happening. Like, you try to, when you talk to them, you're like, so is there anything I need to know? What are you doing? What are you going to use that for?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and they also look at, I think there's another, they do also do some of the, like asteroid stuff up there, but most of the asteroid stuff, I think, gets done on the Big Island, which is erupting right now. That's one, not where the telescopes are. The telescopes are on one, and then the lava is on the other. So, but yeah, I'm always curious of what's coming through here. Lots of wealth coming through here, and a lot of projects based on and around that. And stuff. So yeah, we'll see. I predict some weakness next year for sure. It's just bound to happen. We've been tearing it up for a couple of years now, so I'm sure there's going to be some cooling. And it's usually like, I look to the welders for that, like how busy are they? Because usually if they're welding something, it's going to be powder coated, or may be called for powder coating. So
yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah.
Let's see. So let's talk about some of the other things that kind of topics that might have been discussed this year in powder coating as we wrap up the year. Education, aging out.
It's still the number one issue that talking to all the companies, the member companies, as I go around, just, finding people to replace, the hiring process, and just finding qualified candidates is the number one problem that they're having. And, I'm part of that baby boomers generation, and as we're leaving, it is leaving definitely some holes in there, and we just have to find the people and get them trained properly to be able to step up and take over. I think it's going to be some great opportunity for some of the next generations to advance and take on some more responsibility and that type of thing. But as everyone is aware, it's tough to find sometimes, and we just have to. That's sort of where the marketing plan for the Custom Coater Forum was, to talk about how do you make your company look better so that people want to come join you. I mean, we're not in that sexy industry. We're just good, solid manufacturing. You can make a great living doing it. I love it. I find that it's always interesting and different things, but it's that little niche market that some people don't know about.
Right. I know. And, I don't know how to really, do you think it's just an online course that, is it just solving it with digital like solutions, or is it something more?
We're thinking that, and what I know that we're working on, and along with some of the other associations and things like that, is trying to drive this down further back into high school. And not necessarily that someone's going to make a decision, but just so that they are aware of it and aware of this industry. I remember coming out of college, and I guess I knew things got painted, but I never gave it a lot of thought until I was, put into that job, and all of a sudden went, wow, this is pretty neat. But, we have to get people interested in coming, and, that they're aware there is this industry out there. We don't get a lot of publicity. I mean, we're not on the nightly news and like the software companies or, or the
Right.
Twitters and all that take all that focus away. It's just a lot of rock solid companies that are out there that do a great job.
Hey, Powder Coating Nation, Kim Scott here. It's time to grow your business with us. The Powder Coating Near Me directory can get your powder coating shop the real exposure it needs to succeed when you list your job shop today. Join a list of top custom coaters who've listed their credentials to be discovered by the customers who are searching for powder coating every day. Head over to powdercoatingnearme.com, click Add a Coating Shop, and start creating your very own page for free. Yes, free. You can add your logo, name, address, phone number, map listing, social media links, photos, video, and more. When you submit your listing, we'll get notified and approve you right away. Now you can add all the categories you specialize in and even add your own tags. Get the SEO and valuable backlinks your company needs for authority and getting ranked. You can even use the link you create and share it to your favorite social media profiles to build legitimacy as a custom coder. What are you waiting for? Become part of the largest consumer search directory in powder coating in the world, all for free. Find and click the link in this podcast or go to powdercoatingnearme.com to get started growing your brand today.
Yeah. And, that reminds me, I'm going to ask you formally, but I know I'm going to ask this question already because I sent it in my email. But I guess, as a member of the Powder Coating Institute, and, I know how helpful the Institute is. I mean, that is just basically your mission, right?
Right.
But, is there a way that we could create a educational video, not just, obviously you've got your powder coating 101 and 102, that's teaching people how to powder coat. But what if we could create a video series or, maybe linked in with credits, for architects or designers, because they're always looking for educational credits. I think they're called CEUs.
Right.
Could we create a video or a presentation that we could be part of to get out there in the marketplace and get this under their noses so that they get the educational credits, but they also get to know us a little bit more, and the beauty and the greatness of coders and coding, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are currently working with trying to get something together. The education units and all that, especially for the architecture, really goes through another association, the FGIA, which is the old AMA.
Yeah.
So they're the ones for the architects and that type of thing. We think we may have a path going down. That's on our list for 2023 to do more investigative work for them. Can it be done as a webinar or does it need to be done in person? There's some steps that we have to go through with them since they are the ones that actually, they'll probably let us put it on, but they also have to verify what we're teaching is, meeting to be able to get those continuing education units.
Right.
So it is something that we think we might be able to do. It's always the devil's in the details to make sure you can get it right. And right now we do have some member companies that have been doing, the in-person side. So we may be leaning on them a little bit to find out how we could do something for that would be part of PCI itself.
Even if it could be something, it doesn't even have to be, obviously that'd be the ultimate is if they get, because that they're always looking for these credits. But I mean, even it could just be an offering as a lunch and learn, right? Kind of thing, just to kind of maybe more marketing purpose than educationally purposed. Either way, it's, it seems like such a rarity when you do find an architect that knows about powder coatings. I know in their industry, there's a lot to learn and a lot to
Right.
know and stuff. But
we're actually thinking of trying to take it to the colleges and introducing it to, call it, the new architects that are coming out.
Right.
And doing it as, whether it's a lunch and learn or, as part of a class, that's the exploration we have to figure out, is how can we do it? But if we get them, I guess when they're young and when they're coming out, then they will understand it when they see it and remember that this is something that they can do and specify, especially on the architectural side when someone is trying to achieve some the LEEDs credits, that a lot of the new buildings all have to meet.
Here's a message from today's sponsor.
Do you know chemical strippers from Benco Sales reduced our prep time by up to 80%? We chose Benco B17 and have been using it now for 5 years. We were surprised at how effortless it removed finishes from literally anything we put into it. Removal takes minutes, not hours. Several suppliers over the years have told us they have something as good as B17, but don't believe it. There's a reason the name B17 is universally applied for those claiming to have fast strippers. Buy it by name and available only by Benco Sales. B17 is the industry benchmark by which every other stripper is compared. Accept no substitute. Get started today by going to bencosales.com. BEMCO sales.com.
Say Rosscoat sent you for a free Benco t-shirt.
I liked one of the things that you did cover in and continues to be covered throughout many powder coating subject magazines and stuff is generational coaters.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to keep it going, keep the candle lit. Lots of changes have come and gone in the industry over the years, ups and downs and all arounds. And yet these companies just seem to survive and thrive and grow. And they just, some of them have such humble beginnings. I don't know where I'm going with this, like in terms of like a specific question, but what do you think of these generational coders? Are they the backbone or are they just an outlier? What are they?
Well, because there are so many family operations, especially in the coating industry itself, I think they're there to stay, the ones that can keep it going. And again, getting past the third generation can be always the toughest.
Yeah.
In the information and when I was helping dig up some material for that article and just reading through some statistics and all that, the one thing that sort of came out to me is that they planned. They had a plan how to do it and how to train the individuals, the next generation coming up. They weren't just handed it and said, okay, it's your company now. You can take it, you can run and do it. They were put through the paces. They had to work through the operations and learn it, from ground up. And then they were capable of doing some of that. So those were the things that I found very interesting with it and just the way they did it. I did in the past, one of the companies I'd worked for was a privately held company, a family operation, and they were one that they're going on to the 6th generation now. So
that's awesome.
They had it put together and they understood how to do it. So it's not easy. No, definitely not easy.
Yeah, especially if somebody wants to, I don't know, do something else with their life, what I mean? Or, has a different interest.
I mean, like you're fully aware, owning your own business is not necessarily always easy. Someone thinks, oh, you're an owner, yeah, but how many different jobs do you do in your normal day life? It is tough being an owner and just making sure that you're ready to go and everything is, going across, you're crossing the T's and dotting the I's and, it's not an easy job. It's fulfilling, but it's not easy.
Yeah. And I think that, I I'm actually reaching out to a guy right now, which I hope to have on the show soon, because I don't know what it is about December, but I am just like exhausted. I'm exhausted by being an owner, by wearing so many hats and stuff like that. I'm hitting a wall right now with it. I don't know what that is all about, but usually I can kind of push through some of this stuff. But right now it's just been really, really difficult. And I think that, my gosh, when we saw you come out here, was it in September already?
Yeah, the end of September.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe that. First of all, like that was the end of September. And we just had that like big implosion with all of the sandblasting stuff. I was so embarrassed when you came out, to be honest with you, because I was just like, what the hell is going on with Kim and Ross? We usually have our act together a little bit better. There was just so much going on. And now you look back in there, I'm almost kind of like, I want to take the video cam with me just to show you. And Ross has finally installed his, his compressor that we bought like 5 years ago and never installed. He's updating and upgrading the sandblasting operation. I mean, it's a whole new shop. It is literally a whole new shop. We're starting to install our Benco East strip tank for 6-wheel tank. So we haven't quite figured it out yet, but we're getting there. I mean, we started looking around, and I told him I'm like, oh my God, this is like a totally different shop. This is now the shop that we've dreamed about, right? It's finally happening. Of course, you saw the worst of it. So we're going to do a show for everyone on all the improvements once they're done to, maybe too bad we didn't see it before and after, but I know you witnessed it.
Well, what I witnessed was some people that are doing some hard work, and I saw all the parts that you were trying to coat, and you don't have a large shop, so it was difficult just to move things around.
Oh yeah,
but that's also the time and that we're in right now is the amount of work that's out there, and everybody's screaming that they want to have their part to them as soon as possible. So I saw an everyday life. So
good.
Don't feel embarrassed about it.
I was so embarrassed that day. I mean, Ross was just so tired. He didn't even care. Like, like this is how it is, whatever, and I'm like, oh, but you know what? Since you came that day, we've hired a full-time guy.
Oh, great.
Who's helping us now. And it's given Ross the kind of mental freedom to sort of take a breath. And I just feel like we've just come through this. Maybe that's why I'm so tired. It's like I just kind of crossed this finish line to a new level, maybe. I don't know.
But you're also just getting all your Pantene coatings going and all that. So you guys had a lot on your plate all at the same time.
Yeah, that's still going. It's still ongoing. I mean, yeah, I almost feel embarrassed talking about it sometimes because I'm not quite ready to share it yet, but I know people do start to know about it now, whether I'm sharing it or not. They're finding us and stuff. And there's some pretty cool milestones that are happening right now that I will share in the future. And talking about the future, like where, I know you've got some upcoming Powder Coated Tough magazine issues ahead of you. Any sneak peek into what you will be talking about in the future or into 2023?
Hey guys, we never thought the Powder Coater podcast would take off as well as it has. The level of engagement and bringing custom coaters together has been wonderful and worth every late night edit and weekend recording.
Whether it's product features, smart business strategies, or custom coder interviews, we are encouraged to continue to bring great content. That's why we're going to show you how you can help us just a little bit more by sponsoring the show for as little as $1, $5, or $10 per month.
Just go to rosscoat.com page and look for the Become a Patreon button in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Once you're there, you can scroll to learn more about our goals and mission, grow our community by bringing you new episodes and news each week.
With every sponsor level, you get something for yourself, too, to guarantee your success as a powder coater. We are so thankful for you and enjoying the content we bring you each week, and hope you show your support by becoming a sponsor. And level up your powder coater game.
Well, no, every issue we try and take just a different subject that we're going to be talking about. So we try and find either an industry or on a particular powder chemistry or something that we go out there. This next issue that's coming out here very shortly, we're actually covering maintenance. What does it take to maintain your powder shop, and what do you have to do? So that one will have a lot of useful information for the users.
Yeah. I like reading the articles. They always have the how-to, or somebody writes in a question and you guys are there to answer these kind of technical questions. There's always something to learn there, and stuff. And just to recap too, like, you don't need to be a member
not at all,
of the PCI to either get this magazine or attend the powder coating week. Like, you don't need to be a member.
No,
anybody can come, right? We didn't cover that earlier, but I wanted to kind of state that because I think it's really important that everybody's included, right?
Yeah, and the magazine is a free subscription. You can get it either in the U.S. in print or digital. Outside of the U.S. itself, we can only do digital. But yeah, it's powdercoatedtough.com, and there's a free, just click on there for the membership, and comes 6 issues a year. So
plus a buyer's guide too, or
the 6th issue in this November, December is the buyer's guide.
Yeah, which is cool because that's everything you need is in there for that. Awesome. Well, this has been great. I think we've talked about it all, really. We kind of covered it all. Things are moving forward. Some things are stepping back, but then it's still moving. It's still, and I think it's key. I think that, I think North America is going to stay a little on the strong side until things change in Europe and China. So that might be a boon for us. There's still lots of, things to discuss in the future about some of the regulations and EPA stuff that's kind of coming down the pipe for us in the future, and some of what these globalists want to fit us in a box, right? And I don't know where that's going, but that's certainly some of the things that are coming to my mind that we could be talking about in the future,
Yeah. And like I say, we never know what tomorrow brings. So there may be something brand new that neither one of us thought about. And that's what is always changing and why we always have to keep up on things. So that's why I really appreciate you allowing me to come on just to talk about what's going on a little bit and share what I see going on. But we want to, we love this market and we just happy to share it.
Yeah, I think we should all be sharing it. It's such an awesome business to be in, such great people to be with and in company with. And the more I know and the more we grow, the more I get interested in it, right? So, awesome. Well, it was so great to have you on the show today, Kevin. And as always, you always will love to come on, and I'm so happy to have you. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Well,
I hope to see you in February in Orlando. So I'll be crossing my fingers that you can make it.
I'll be flapping my wings. All right. Thanks again and have a great day. Aloha.
Aloha.